Okay, the next topic is energy and chemical reactions. Energy is the capacity to do work, and work means moving something, such as, for example, a molecule or a muscle. There are different kinds of energy. We have potential energy, kinetic energy, chemical energy. Chemical energy is the energy stored in food. For example, glucose, carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen are connected using bonds, and that's going to be chemical energy. If we scroll down, we have classes of chemical reactions. What type of chemical reactions we have? We have decomposition reactions, for example, which are going to be reactions that are going to break down things, and building reactions which are going to be synthesis reactions. So when you have something big, you get little things, decomposition reaction. When you have little things and you build something bigger, synthesis reactions. Now, these chemical reactions can be reversible, meaning they can come from here to here, and from here go back into these substances again. And we scroll down, reaction rates, the frequency by which the molecules need to get in contact in order to produce a chemical reaction. These reaction rates are going to vary based on concentration. The more molecules you have, the more chances you have in order to have a chemical reaction. Temperature, as you know, when something is hot, it's going to move faster, therefore the more options to get a chemical reaction, as well as catalysts. Catalysts are substances that are very important because they will allow us to make this chemical reaction possible. Most of the time, catalysts are proteins. Metabolism, oxidation, and reduction. All the chemical reactions that happen in your body are going to fall under the category of metabolism. The chemical reactions that build are going to fall under the category of anabolism. All the chemical reactions that destroy are going to fall under the category of catabolism. Oxidation and reduction. Chemical reaction can be an oxidation or it can be reduction, because this one is going to oxidize by giving electrons, and this one is going to be a reduction because receive electrons. Okay, the next topic is organic compounds. An organic compound is considered that contains carbon. So if it contains carbon, it's considered an organic compound, but that carbon dioxide has carbon, but it is not considered an organic compound. So examples of organic compound that we're going to have are going to be carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, nucleic acids. So let's take a look at this. When we have single units of these molecules, then are going to be called monomers. Multiple units are going to be called polymers. How do we form these polymers? We have monomers, as you can see here. We have one monomer and another monomer. We put them together by removing water. Therefore, this is going to be called dehydration synthesis. Remember, we mentioned that synthesis is building things. So if you have two separated, now they are together because we remove water. Since we remove water, this is called dehydration synthesis. Now, the opposite to that is we have something that is going to be already put together. And we know that hydro means water. So then if we add water, this molecule that was together now is separated. Therefore, this type of chemical reaction is going to be hydrolysis. Let's scroll down and let's see what carbohydrates are. Well, we said that hydro means water, right? So then what's a carbohydrate? It's a carbon that you hydrated with water. Now, this is the basic unit. If you put together 6 of these, you're going to get glucose, which is C6H12O6. In this case, the monosaccharide, glucose. Okay, other examples of monosaccharides, you're going to have galactose and fructose, as you can see right here. Okay, and if you put together 2 of them with a synthesis reaction, then you're going to get disaccharide. For example, sucrose, which is the combination of glucose and fructose, as you can see right here. Other ones are going to be lactose as well as maltose. Right? That's a disaccharide. A polysaccharide of glucose, for example, is going to be glycogen, which is a long chain of glucose, as you can see in here. Obviously, you have other, such as, for example, starch, cellulose. Those are going to be other examples. Carbohydrate functions. For example, glucose is very important in the human body to produce ATP. Okay, so if we keep scrolling down, lipids here, you're going to see these lines right here. These are going to be called fatty acids, like, such as palmitic acid, for example, and they are mixed with glycerol. What chemical reaction you use to mix things? You use a dehydration synthesis. And when you mix them, you're going to form this structure, which is going to be a triglyceride. Why? Tri, because you have 1, 2, 3 fatty acids, and it's combined with glycerol, a triglyceride. If you look at this, every single carbon is combined with hydrogen. If you have hydrogens everywhere without the double bonds, then it's going to be saturated fat. Okay, if we keep scrolling down, phospholipids. You have glycerol, fatty acids, phosphate. Okay, so then what is this? A phosphate lipid, which is a very important component of your cell membrane. Keep scrolling down. We have in here cosinoids, which comes from a fatty acid called arachidonic acid, as you can see right here. It's very important because from there you're going to get prostaglandins, which are a very important substance in our body. Steroid. We have in here a steroid. The most important one is cholesterol. What's the characteristic of cholesterol? That is going to have rings. Cholesterol is very important in our body because from cholesterol you're going to get hormones, for example, testosterone and estrogens. Okay? And from triglycerides you can get functions such as energy storage, as you can see right here. The next topic is going to be protein. Proteins are chains of amino acids. We can see here an amino acid. This part right here, NH2, is the amino. This part right here, COOH, is a carboxyl group, which is going to give you the acid. Okay, so then you have an amino acid. This is another amino acid, but there's one part that is going to be different. See, this part right here is different, this part right here is different, and this part is what makes the different types of amino acid that we use in order to make proteins. So as you can see here, methionine and cysteine, right? These are two different kinds of amino acids because this part right here, the variable part, is different. You can see other type of amino acids in which, again, the backbone is the same, right? The amino and the acid, and this part is the only one that is going to be different. If we scroll down, we can see that all the amino acids are going to be connected by peptide bonds. But why do they need to get connected? Because when they get connected, the amino acids are going to give you different structures. How many structures proteins can have? They can have up to 4 structures, as you can see in there: primary structure, secondary structure, tertiary structure, and quaternary structure. Proteins that we have in our body that have very important functions are going to be with quaternary structure. For example, hemoglobin in our red blood cells. Other functions of proteins are going to be cell membrane channels, cell identity markers, catalysts. In the case of enzymes, enzymes obviously are proteins. Enzymes have an active site where the substrates are going to go inside in order to get together or in order to be split apart. Enzymes need cofactors or coenzymes. Cofactors are inorganic, such as, for example, iron, and coenzymes are organic, such as, for example, vitamins. Cofactors and coenzymes are necessary in order for the enzyme to work. And the next topic is going to be nucleic acid and nucleotides. The nucleotide is composed of 3 things. This part right here is a base containing nitrogen, or also called a nitrous base. It also needs a sugar, and it has phosphate, as you can see here. Very important nucleotide is ATP, as you can see right here. In the case ATP, the base that contains nitrogen is going to be adenine. The sugar is going to be ribose, and you're going to have 3 phosphates, 1, 2, and 3. That's why it's called ATP. Now, another function of nucleotides is to be the main component of nucleic acids. And the nucleic acids can be DNA as well as RNA.